Well, so what's up guys, good evening. I thought I would do another video this evening talking about Jonathan Joly. So, obviously I'm still kind of in two minds about whether I'm going to report him or not. You know, I am thinking about it, to be fair, but I think the problem is, you know, if myself or somebody else was to report Jonathan and report the things that he does, you know, if they were to report that to social services, they would take, you know, they would have a different viewpoint on it to the one that we have. Like, you know, we would be the ones in the wrong, not him. You know, we would be the ones in the wrong because we're looking at things, you know, in a certain way. You know, we're seeing the things that he's doing is inappropriate. You know, the things that we see or that we deem as being inappropriate is, you know, would be different for social services. They might not deem it inappropriate, or they might not see it as being inappropriate. And that would be the big issue. You know, that would be the big kind of problem, is that yeah, we might see it as being inappropriate, or, you know, we might deem it to be inappropriate, but they might not see it, but social services might not actually see it that way. Like, they might not deem it as being inappropriate. They might look at the things that Jonathan is doing and say, well, you know, from what we can see, he's not really doing anything inappropriate. That's what, you know, we know what we see. You know, it's not like, you know, anyone would be making false accusations or anything like that. Because people know what they see. You know, and it's just the thing, like, people know what they see and people are concerned by what they're seeing. You know, on his channel, they're concerned by the things that he's doing. And some of the things that he does, or some of the things that he's doing, are actually, to be quite frankly honest, downright disgusting. And they deserve to be reported. Someone should report it, you know. But it's like, how likely would it be that you know, social services would actually do something? Because they would say that you're the one in the wrong for the way that for the way that we're looking at things. They would say that we're looking at things in a certain way that we shouldn't be looking at them. But I don't think it comes down to it really comes down to anyone looking at things in an inappropriate way, or, you know, looking at things in a way they shouldn't be looking at them. You know, people know what they're seeing, and people know that what they're seeing isn't right, you know, and it's not appropriate. You know, and I don't blame people for wanting to report that, you know, and for wanting to make, you know, the authorities aware of what Jonathan is actually doing, because it feels like that should be done. It feels like that's what has to be done. You know, it feels like someone has to make the authorities aware of what he's doing. And, you know, trying to explain the things that he's doing, you know, in the best way that we can. Because, you know, so we need social services to understand, like, why we're concerned. It's also well and good me phoning them up and saying, well, I'm concerned about what he's doing, I'm concerned about, you know, some of the things I've seen in his videos, but, you know, I mean, as I said, all they would need to do is go and look at his channel. But then there's that problem of if they might look at the things that we reported to them, they might look at the things that we've mentioned, and they might not see it as inappropriate. You know, I mean, we all know that the way that Jonathan puts his hits out there, or is putting his hits out there on the internet, is just absolutely disgusting, and it does feel like, you know, more often than not, like he is trying to make his children a target for paedophiles and child predators on the internet. It feels like that's exactly what he's doing. I think the reason that he does things, a lot of things as well, is he knows that people comment on it, and he knows that he'll get a lot of backlash for it, and that is what he wants. Ultimately, is he wants people to take a shot at him over what he's doing and say, well, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Because it's, you know, it's disgusting. What he's doing is wrong. And You know, this is why I've previously done videos encouraging people to report him, because he needs to be reported. You know, someone has to take a look at the things that he's doing. Because at the end of the day, it's disgusting what he's doing. But as I said, my fear is that if people were to report the things that Jonathan is doing, they wouldn't be, you know, social services wouldn't necessarily deem them as being inappropriate. They would look at things and they would say, well, it's your perception, you're seeing these things as inappropriate, you're looking at things in that way. You know, they would claim that you're the perverted one because of the way that you're looking at things. It wouldn't be him that got into trouble, it wouldn't be him that's in the wrong for doing the things that he's doing. It would be the people who reported him that are in the wrong because of the way that they're actually looking at things. You know, as I said before, the things that we see or that we deem to be inappropriate are things, the things that social services might not deem to be inappropriate, or they might not see it as inappropriate. They might not get why we're saying this, or what the reason is for that. You know, it's one of those many things, if you know what I mean, that people really need to think about. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't report him, but I think that, it's like when I think about reporting him, it's like this is like one of the things that is really playing on my mind, is the fact that if I reported him, they would say that, I'm making him out that, they might think I'm exaggerating, or, they might think that I'm making Jonathan out to be some kind of, paedophile or something like that. I'm not trying to make him out to be something like that. So I would never make somebody out to be some kind of paedophile or child predator or anything. He comes across as a bit of a predator at times. You know, I think it's not hard to see why so many people, as you can see, you can see that a lot of people are becoming really concerned about the way that Jonathan is putting his hits out there on the internet. People know that the way that he's putting his hits out there on the internet is just absolutely disgusting. And it's disgusting beyond more than words can ever say. It really sickens me when I see him, the likes of him putting his hits out there on the internet the way that he is, basically making his paedophile identity, which is what he's doing a lot of the time. He's basically doing things that he knows will attract child predators and paedophiles to videos of his kids, which is what he's trying to do. I mean, it makes me laugh when I think back to the Stacey Dooley documentary, and he was basically, they was basically talking about how he would feel if he knew that there are heaps of child predators watching videos of his, and he was saying about how he doesn't show anything in his vlogs that would attract audiences like that. But unfortunately, you look at things these days, and that doesn't ring true. Because he does show a lot of things in his videos that would attract that kind of audience. You look at the latest video that went out on TikTok, I think yesterday. And you look at what Alessia was wearing in the video. He knows that people comment on that. You can't exactly say, well, why have you got Alessia wearing that kind of clothing in the video? Because if you commented on the sort of clothing they're wearing, you would bet it used to being a pervert. So, people say, oh, it's not a bad thing or whatever. I feel sorry for those kids because of the way that the fact that their father is putting them out there, thinks it's actually okay and acceptable to be putting them out there online the way that he does. But then it's like, I understand why people are so pissed off with Anna. People are not having a go at Anna, but I think people are really just questioning why Anna is so okay with a lot of the things that Jonathan does. Like, this is what doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, you know, some of the things that Jonathan does are really, you know, really quite bad. But what doesn't make sense is why Anna, as a mother, is so okay with the things that he's doing. Like, she doesn't seem to have a problem with that, or she doesn't seem to have an issue with that. You know, I think about what he did the other week, well, a couple of weeks ago, when he did a couple of videos and he was zooming in on Amelia's upper chest area. Like, my God, that actually disgusted me, and that made me feel really kind of sick to my stomach. And as soon as I saw that, I immediately got the feeling that it wasn't unintentional, like it was purely intentional. That's how this is the problem with Jonathan, is it just feels like a lot of the things that he does are purely, are actually purely intentional, like he's doing them deliberately or doing them on purpose, because he knows that people will call him out for it, and he knows that people will say that what he's doing isn't okay. And that's what he wants. He thrives off of that negative backlash that he gets from people for doing these things, which is why he does. I bet I've said, enough on this. But yeah, I really want to just do a short video giving my viewpoint on this, talking more about this. I feel like there are a lot of things that, to bear in mind when, you consider reporting someone like Jonathan, is that social services might not see see things in the same way that you see them. They may see things differently to the way that you see them. The things that you see and you deem to be inappropriate, are things that social services might not deem to be, or might not see as inappropriate, might not deem to be inappropriate. And this is the problem. This is what scares me, is if I was social services, it would be him that got into trouble, it would be me that got into trouble. They would, they'd ran me a pervert because of the way that, people look at the way that, I was looking at things. But I don't think that myself or anyone else can really be blamed for thinking that a lot of the things that Jonathan does are just downright inappropriate as they are. And that just has to be said. It really is that simple. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.